Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Emily. Today we are starting the fall DIYs on this channel. And to start, I have 3 DIY projects and then we're going to update this hutch behind me and decorate it for fall. So we have a lot to do in this video, so let's get started on these projects. To make this front porch sign, I'm actually going to be using the back side of a front porch sign that I made last year for Christmas. So it is a shelving board and the dimensions are 10 inches by 4 feet 8 inches. And what I decided to do was, instead of painting the piece and then applying a stencil and painting on top of it, I decided to kind of do the opposite. So I cut out the words "Hello Pumpkin" on my Cricut machine, and I am using removable vinyl so that it's not super adhesive and I'll be able to peel the vinyl up, because what I'm going to do is lay all the vinyl out onto the shelving board, and then I'm going to paint over the entire thing. I'm going to paint it black. Then once the paint is dry and I remove the vinyl, then the white wording is left behind. So that is all that I'm doing here. I end up only having to do 1 coat of the black, which is awesome. It is the ink chalk paint by Waverly. I've said this several times before. I love this black chalk paint. It has such good coverage. And like I said, I only needed to do 1 coat and it dried actually really quickly. So I waited for this to fully dry to pull up the vinyl, just in case there were areas that I needed to touch up on and that I wouldn't know until it was dry. So in this case, I waited till everything was dry. I removed the vinyl. Like I said, I used the removable vinyl. You know, it's a little bit cheaper and I don't use it on the regular, like on a regular basis. So I always have a little extra on hand, and I'd rather use the removable vinyl than, permanent vinyl, because I use permanent vinyl on so many other things. So I also cut out a little stencil of 3 pumpkins on using my Cricut. So the first orange that I'm using here is a mixture of pumpkin chalk paint by Waverly and a terracotta acrylic paint, just to get that color that I was looking for. And I did 2 or 3 coats, and then once that dried, as you saw, I took the outline of this other pumpkin, so that I could have that shape around, like that would cut in front of the large pumpkin. And this green color is, I believe it is celery by Waverly. I'm pretty sure it's celery, and it's either that or moss. It's one of those 2 colors from Waverly. So I'm doing the same thing with the yellow on this pumpkin, just tracing out that inner line there. And this one is yellow, I don't know how to say it, yellow ochre, yellow ochre, not really sure, but it's also an acrylic paint. So I do a couple coats for all of them, and then I just add some of the colors of the other pumpkins to create lines and definition on the pumpkin, so it's not just a flat, looking pumpkin. And I wait for that to completely dry before I do my top coats. So I let it sit for a couple hours, and I did a light spray of the Rust-Oleum matte clear coat. So I just did a light spray before I applied this Helmsman clear coat, and it's water based and it is great for outside. So I did 2 coats of the Helmsman. I let that dry overnight, and then I created this bow like a year ago for something that I never ended up using. So I'm just using these command strips, and that way I can take off the bow easily to store it and I won't ruin the bow or anything else. So I thought this was great, and especially like, next year if I still love the sign but I don't love the ribbon and I want to change up the ribbon, it's perfect to change it up. So I hope you like this one. I'm so excited that I finally was able to create a fall front porch sign. I've had these pumpkins in my fall stash for several years now, and I'm ready to give them new life and to fit my vibes for this fall season. So for the first one, I am doing a faux cement, like a light colored faux cement kind of look. So I'm mixing white chalk paint with the taupe gray. It's an acrylic paint by Anita's that I get at Hobby Lobby. I mixed those up together and I added some baking soda. Not a lot. I just wanted a little bit of texture. Like I said, I'm kind of going for that faux cement look. I have to do 2 or 3 coats of this. I can't remember. It definitely was at least 2 coats. And I let that fully dry before I started to do anything else. And once it did fully dry, I decided to do just a light coat of the Rust-Oleum clear coat just to protect it. And for this large pumpkin, I am going for like that darker gray cement look. So I am using steel chalk paint. It is from Waverly. And again, I'm mixing it with the baking soda just a little bit. I think for this one, I had to do 3 coats, 3 solid coats. For whatever reason, this one was just a lot thinner. So I let that fully dry once I had all of the coats on. And again, I did a light spray of the Rust-Oleum clear coat before I started moving on. For this gray one, I decided to add the elephant color chalk paint to the steel gray to make a slightly darker gray and add it into the crevices of the pumpkin for dimension. Well, once I did that, I liked where it was going, but I realized it wasn't like finished. So what I did was I took um, a brush and I started to do like a stippling effect on the the rest of the pumpkin. So I'm like trying to do kind of like the lighter, more of the steel gray color, but adding in just a little bit of that mixture. So again, it's all about that dimension, all about that texture, and um, the stippling just kind of helps give that visual effect. And I let that fully dry. Now I'm going back to the white. Apparently, I'm just flip-flopping around. So for the white pumpkin, I am using the Dixie Belle clear wax, and I'm going to apply that in all of the crevices of this pumpkin. And I am also taking Dixie Belle dirt. I've never used this before, and this was my first time, and I had so much fun using this. So it's super fine texture, like kind of like baby powder, and I'm just sprinkling it all over where I put that wax. And then I'm taking my wax brush and brushing it and smoothing it all around. So here I'm creating that depth and dimension on this pumpkin and giving it kind of like that aged look to it. And I just kept doing that until I got the desired look I was going for, and I sealed it again with the Rust-Oleum clear coat or clear matte. So back to the gray one, and I still wasn't quite happy with it, so I decided to add the DIY white wax over that darker gray part of the pumpkin, and it kind of softened it up a little bit, which was what I was happy with and like going for. It kind of made it a little bit more subtle, but because I had so much fun with that the Dixie Belle dirt, I decided to add just a little sprinkling up on the top, um, again to give it more of that depth and to like make it look like it was like aged and worn, kind of thing going on. So I did that, and I decided I wanted to go even further, and then I just like dip my finger in the dirt and I just start um putting it all along the the ridges of the pumpkin to give it even more of that look. So if you guys haven't tried this Dixie Belle dirt and you can get your hands on it, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And I end up using it on so many other projects coming up in future videos. And if you have used it, let me know what else like you use it for, or if there's a better way to apply it than what I did. I am so happy with how these pumpkins turned out, and I hope that you like them and it gets you inspired to do something with pumpkins that you already have in your house too. I decided what I wanted to do to update this hutch was add slats to the back of it. I thought it was looking kind of flat in one dimension, so I thought this was going to be the perfect thing to add that depth and dimension to this piece. So here I am using 1/4 inch plywood. If you do not have 1/4 inch plywood or can't get it, 5mm underlayment will work perfectly fine. And I decided to stain this in Early American. I thought it was the perfect happy medium between a light stain and a dark stain. So I let it sit overnight, and I did stain the front and the sides because I wasn't sure if you would be able to see the sides because I am spacing them out, and I'm using 3 cards as my spacers. So I'm just tacking them into place, and I think this turned out absolutely perfect, and this adds that extra touch that I was looking for because the walls that I painted, they're more of a cream color, and so was the hutch. So this was the perfect depth that I was looking for. For fall, I love to decorate with the amber bottles and copper and just more of the darker, more, I don't know, the muted natural kind of tones and hues. So I pulled everything off of the hutch. I pulled out all of my fall stuff. I laid everything out, and I am just going to slowly start decorating and rearranging. Those are the 2 pumpkins that we did in our DIYs, and then I'm grabbing all the books that I have that are of the darker tones or the browns or some greens and blues, and I'm turning some of them outward and some of them so you can see the pages. I have some signs that I made and some thrifted pieces that I found along the way throughout the years. And I'm also adding the cameras back in that my husband loves to collect. And I thought that the hutch needed some different texture, so I popped in some of the cotton and some excuse me, some fabric pumpkins. And then I found this branch at Hobby Lobby. It's 50% off. It was $9.99 normally, and I thought this added like the perfect dark tone that I was looking for, without it being um, too much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments what was your favorite DIY project, or did you really like the upcycling of this hutch and decorating it for fall? I'd love to know what you guys thought. I think my favorite is the fall front porch sign. I've been wanting to do that for so long, and I'm so happy that I finally did. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking forward to more fall DIYs, then please consider subscribing. I have a ton more coming out for this fall season, and it has only just begun. So I hope to see y'all in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.